One of the most widely debated topics in the transportation industry is the difference between double brokering and co-brokering. In this video, we cover the discrepancies between the two, how to avoid being double brokered, and the benefits of a healthy co-brokerage agreement. I'm Josh, a sales team manager with Anderson Trucking Service. Let's get right into it and get down to what the difference is between double brokering and co-brokering. We'll start with double brokering. Double brokering is when a shipment is tendered to a freight broker who then gives that shipment to another freight broker without the knowledge or consent of the party involved. Oftentimes, it's without the knowledge or consent of the original freight broker. How this happens is when another freight broker misrepresents themselves as an actual carrier. This shipment is then tendered to that secondary freight broker who then tenders that shipment again to an actual carrier to complete the transaction. This is extremely unethical, though not always illegal. When it becomes illegal is when the carrier completing the shipment does not receive payment for it. No matter the situation, double brokering should be avoided at all costs because of the confusion, misrepresentation, and lack of communication that results from it. So how do you avoid double brokered freight? And how do you identify freight brokers that don't participate in this practice? To ensure your transportation provider doesn't participate in double brokering, you need to carefully vet the providers you work with. You need to be asking how they source their capacity and what steps do they take to avoid being double brokered. It's also a good idea to verify the history and experience of the provider you're working with. How long have they been in this industry? And what kind of reputation do they carry in the industry? When you find yourself working with a double brokered shipment, keep in mind that the original freight broker may not have been aware of it. What you want to do then is see what your broker does next to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Most reputable freight brokers will place carriers that double broker their freight on a temporary or permanent do not use list. We know that double brokering is both unethical and in some instances illegal. So what's the difference between double brokering and co-brokering? Co-brokering is when one freight broker enters into a mutual relationship with another freight broker who has a specific set of skills or capabilities to execute a shipment. An example of this would be one freight broker working with a customer who needs freight transported to Canada. This freight broker doesn't have the capacity or the network required to move these shipments, so he enters into an agreement with another freight broker who does have these relationships and this carrier pool to move freight into Canada. Provided all parties involved are aware of what's happening, co-brokering is a completely ethical process and can benefit most customers when they're aware of what's going on. This brings additional capacity to their carrier pool without them having to source the provider themselves. Co-brokering is often done with the use of a co-brokering agreement or contract. What this does is this protects the brokers from contacting each other's customers or carriers throughout the process. It also helps them agree on insurance requirements, vetting requirements, and payment terms for the carriers used. Knowing the difference between double brokering and co-brokering and how to avoid the latter is crucial to any healthy supply chain. Your next step is to click the link below, taking you to the free downloadable freight brokerage selection checklist. In this checklist, you will find 26 questions which we have gathered from current customers on what they found most important when selecting a provider. Here, you will also find our Learning Hub, a massive library full of free resources to help you become the supplier that always delivers. Thank you and have a great day.